Hello and welcome to my presentation on human nutrition and the digestive system unit 7. My name is Maureen Achu. In this presentation, I'll be talking about the main organs and their functions. I'll be talking about what is digestion, the process of digestion, mechanical and chemical digestion, and we'll also be looking at enzymes and their optimum condition. And then lastly, we'll be talking about the balanced diet and its examples. Main organs and their functions. The mouth. The mouth is where digestion begins, and it is made up of the teeth and tongue. The teeth tears the food into smaller components. The esophagus, it serves as a passageway for masticated food as it enters the stomach. The stomach is a masculine sac situated at the upper left quadrant of the abdominal cavity. Digestion of protein is carried out in the stomach. The small intestine. The small intestine, food passes into the small intestine from the stomach. It is the primary site for nutrients absorption. The large intestine. The role of the large intestine is to absorb vitamins from the chyme and convert food to feces. The rectum. The rectum receives stool from the colon and holds the stool for a short period until bowel movement occurs. The anal canal. It excretes feces out of the body. Process of digestion. The mouth is the start of the digestive system. Once you start chewing and breaking the meals down into portions small enough to be digested, different mechanisms comes into play. Most saliva is produced. It consists of substances along with enzymes that start the process of breaking down meals right into a shape your frame can take in and use. Chewing your meals thoroughly releases saliva which contains digestive enzymes aiding the digestive process. Also known as the throat, the pharynx is the part of the digestive tract that gets the food out of your mouth. Branching of the pharynx is the esophagus, which consists of food carried to the stomach, and the trachea or windpipe, which consists of air to the lungs. The act of swallowing occurs in the pharynx, in part as a reflex and in part below voluntary control. Food is pushed through the esophagus into the stomach by means of a series of contractions called peristalsis. Just before the opening to the stomach is an important ring-shaped muscle called the lower esophageal sphincter. This sphincter opens to let food pass into the stomach and closes to keep it there. If your lower esophageal sphincter doesn't work properly, you may suffer from a condition called GERD or reflux, which causes heartburn and regurgitation, the feeling of food coming back up. The stomach secretes acid and powerful enzymes that continue the process of breaking the food down and changing it to a consistency of liquid or paste. Made up of three segments: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The small intestine also breaks down food using enzymes which released by the pancreas and bile from the liver. The duodenum is largely responsible for the continuing breakdown process, with the jejunum and ileum being mainly responsible for the absorption of nutrients into the bloodstream. Stool or waste left over from the digestive process passes through the colon by means of peristalsis, first in a liquid state and ultimately in solid form. The stool is stored in the stigmon's X-shaped colon until a mass movement empties it into the rectum, usually once or twice in a day. When the descending colon becomes full of stool, it empties its contents into the rectum to begin the process of elimination. The rectum is an 8-inch chamber that connects the colon to the anus. If they can, the sphincters relax and the rectum contracts, expelling its contents. The pelvic floor muscle creates an angle between the rectum and the anus that stops stool from coming out when it is not supposed to. The anal splinters provide the control of stool. The internal sphincter is always tight except when stool enters the rectum. When we get an urge to defecate, like go to the toilet or the restroom or the loo, we rely on our external sphincter to keep the stool in until we can get to the toilet. There are organs in the digestive system known as accessory organs. Food does not pass through them as part of the digestive process. These are the pancreas. Pancreas is the chief factory for digestive enzymes that are secreted into the duodenum, the first segment of the small intestine. These enzymes break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion or catabolism is the bodily breakdown of huge meal system into smaller meal system. Mostly this takes place inside the mouth before the bolus travels via the digestive machine and the chemical digestion method takes region. Chemical digestion. Chemical digestion is the method of digestion whereby huge molecules are broken into smaller molecules through the usage of enzymes, carbohydrates, proteins, and lipase. Amylase is a carbohydrate. This is produced inside the mouth and pancreas, then secreted into the alimentary canal. The purpose of amylase is to digest starch to maltose. Maltose is then digested through maltase into glucose at the lining of the small intestine. Proteins, which includes pepsin and trypsin, break down proteins into amino acids. Pepsin is produced while protein is digested in the stomach, and trypsin are produced within the pancreas to be secreted into the duodenum with lipase enzymes. Optimum condition for enzymes. Enzymes are released into a group of organs alongside the alimentary canal. For instance, pepsin and gastric lipase are secreted from the gastric glands, and salivary amylase is secreted from the salivary glands. For the digestive tract, those are to interact with macronutrients, meals, molecules, and accelerate the digestive procedures. The inner surroundings of the digestive tract ought to have an appropriate pH stage for this catalytic response to happen. The most efficient temperature for enzymes located in human being is frame temperature of around 37 degrees centigrade. The enzymes that function exceptionally in acidic situations are the ones that are found in the stomach, for instance, gastric lipase and pepsin. Each enzyme molecule has an active site that lets it bond with precise substrate. The active site has a geometric form and precise chemical indications that allow the precise substrate to bond with its complementary form. When the substrate attaches itself to the enzyme's active site, an enzyme substrate complex is formed. Inside the complex, a response takes place to create a product, relying on which enzymes and substrates bond together. Once the end product is launched, it could be transported and stored, leaving the active site clean for the procedure to begin over again. Food groups and their examples. In 2016, the Department of Health launched the recent reproduction of the Eat Well Guide to expose a wholesome, balanced eating regimen and way of life for the common person within the UK. It is recommended that the right balanced eating regimen to offer correct fitness and save you ailments could include the macronutrients, carbohydrate, proteins, and fats, and the micronutrients, nutrients, and minerals. The base of the meal pyramid indicate the ingredients that most dominate our meals, which might be all components of carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are vital macronutrients that ought to be ingested. Macronutrients are located in starchy ingredients, which include these: promote strength and electricity for bodily exercise, produce warmness in the frame, construct muscles, and assist enhance attention and stamina. Unrefined, complicated carbohydrate version, which include wholesome bread and entire grain, are advocated for max nutrient benefits. The subsequent meals institute proven in group 3, fruit and grains. Fruit and grains also are carbohydrate, however, include some of the nutrients, antioxidants, fiber, and feature an excessive water content. Micronutrients are vital in a balanced eating regimen. They can be used to digest proteins, carbs, and fats, despite not being able to provide strength or energy. Towards the pinnacle of the pyramid is group 1, meat, fish, and alternatives, and group 4, dairy and alternatives. These are components of protein. Most of the goods in group 1 are animal products. However, there are a few plant primarily based totally proteins components, which include beans and pulses, which additionally offer nutritional fiber. Protein is a macronutrient that carries amino acids and is vital for metabolism and muscle development. Foods in group 4 offer a supply of calcium, protein, nutrients, and minerals, and therefore must be eaten up every day. Calcium is a micronutrient mineral in conjunction with chloride, magnesium, sodium, sulfur, potassium, and phosphorus. At the pinnacle of the pyramid in group 5, oils and spreads, which must consist of small parts of our everyday consumption of energy, as they may be regularly excessive in saturated fats. However, fat is vital to a balanced eating regimen. The satisfactory substances to devour could be avocados, nuts, and olive oil, which include unsaturated fats. Thank you so much for listening, and this is the end of the presentation. Thank you, and God bless you.